Hello everyone and welcome to our last day of this new Toolbox deck. Yesterday's Spanish video had quite a few technical issues. My computer seems to be in its last in terms of allowing me to record, so I hope it's not a problem today anymore. I know the videos are a bit choppy, but I think they've been that way since the beginning. So I'm just waiting for the new MacBooks to be announced so that I can buy a new one. That's all I'm waiting for, but they've been quite slow with the news and everything. There's a Mac or an Apple event in June, which should bring us news about the new MacBooks, which is exactly what I'm waiting for in order to upgrade my machine and hopefully start bringing you even higher quality videos. Now, my current hand with 3-dimensional Valley is not ideal. We are both running a Mew deck, so I'm going to assume he's running Dimensional Valley as well. I'm gonna get rid of them. I'm gonna make that assumption, because why else would you run Mew? And I'm actually going to search for Hoopa, and with Hoopa I'm gonna focus on Jolteon obviously in this match. There's no reason to focus on anything else because he has Darkrai, he has Yveltal. We don't know if he runs any evolutions, but we don't have any indication that he actually does. So I'm gonna right off the bat simply go for the two Jolteons and the Shaman, attach an energy to Jolteon, and yeah, I've been thinking a lot about this deck, and I think a straight up version with purely max elixir might work better than the current version I'm using. Mew has been quite underwhelming, to be honest. You can see there it is, but it generally has been quite underwhelming, so maybe it's not the best choice to use. Now I could end here, or I could Sycamore. I think I'm definitely more inclined to Sycamore here, and I don't know, I mean, I guess having Mew out, I could use the energy switch to pretty much guarantee I can attack next turn with Mew, thanks to the stadium, and I'm gonna go for that, because that seems like the safer play. That way I don't rely solely on max elixirs in order to power up Jolteon for next turn, and as you can see I whiffed the max elixir, so I'm just gonna pass the turn for now. I don't want anything damaged. I don't mind Jirachi getting some damage on it. If my opponent decides to Lysander the Hoopa, we luckily have the AC. My opponent could definitely start spamming max elixir as well, but it comes down to what kind of evolution my opponent is running, or if he's running any at all. If he's not running any at all, then we could be in for a really good time, and that deck actually looks like a good idea. He had 3 max elixirs and he got them all, so he can actually KO Jirachi now at this point, and that's exactly what he's going to do. He didn't get much else, but I guess using Mew to copy Darkrai's Dark Pulse seems like a really good idea, because with the Dimensional Valley you get to only attack for a single energy, and afterwards it helps you conserve more energy in play. Definitely helps you in that way. But my opponent opts to use Darkrai this time around, because otherwise I would have been able to KO the Mew. Gonna attach a water energy to the Mew, and I don't know, I mean, I could use Lysander to pick off the Mew. I don't think he'll run any lightning energy to copy Jolteon's Flash Ray, so I'm just gonna go ahead and use Flash Ray. I don't want to end, and also I didn't want to Sycamore away all these energies. My opponent top decks a Trainer's Mail. Maybe he will top deck something else out, or get something useful out of it, and potentially save himself a bit. And I'm really hoping wow, he actually gets a Lysander. I'm really hoping the video is not choppy like yesterday's Spanish video, which I apologize. I will be bringing back the second Spanish video. I I didn't realize the video was all messed up, and yeah, my computer yesterday was acting really weird, really weird, and my opponent actually is now down to 3 prizes which is really bad for us. And I didn't realize, because of resistance, we're gonna 4-hit KO the Darkrai. So I'm gonna start powering up Jolteon, and at this point I'm gonna use Verse Seeker to end my opponent. He will have the same amount of cards, but I think I need something else in order to get back into his game, because my opponent, even though I have him locked, if he gets a continuous whatever of Lysanders or Verse Seekers, we could definitely be in a lot of trouble. So yeah, I'm just gonna flash right here. Thanks to the Fighting Fury belt, if I manage to find a max elixir, I could potentially KO Darkrai next turn, which would be ideal. And attacking with Jolteon EX also means we have weakness advantage onto the Yveltal, so we could 1-hit KO that as well. And yeah, my opponent decides to play Switch for the Mew. I'm not entirely sure what he's going to copy. He won't damage me at all with any of his attacks. I do have him under lock, and yeah, I mean, we are going slowly but surely. He's gonna use Encounter. So Encounter finds you a Pokemon and puts it into your hand. So maybe he'll search for Shaman now. Maybe he's gonna find Shaman. He could also potentially, I mean, if he has Darkrai, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. He's gonna find Malamar, which makes sense, definitely makes sense. And due to that, I am going to use N once again, because I definitely don't want to be threatened by being put to sleep and not being able to attack once and breaking the lock. So gonna find that Mew. I discarded 2 cards I don't want to use, and I'm going to Verse Seeker and end my opponent once again. And now, because I will be able to KO the Mew, he will require an Ultra Ball or some sort of supporter in order to find the Malamar once again. And yeah, we do find energy. If we hit an energy off of the max elixir, I might even be able to attack with Jolteon, but I do not. But okay, because Darkrai is not in the active slot, I can actually take the KO here with Mew, because he is weak, and even without the weakness, he had less than 70 HP. So we get our first KO. Darkrai is in range. No AC for us. That's the card I really need to guarantee that I win this match, just in case he does find the Malamar and attaches an energy and I flip tails. I mean, it's a lot of ifs, but it's definitely possible. And it's not too unlikely. He's gonna find a Sycamore there with a Trainer's Mail, so definitely a very big possibility that he can't pull that off. There's a Reverse Valley, so that could mess us up a little bit, except for the fact that we're not gonna use Mew in the following turn. He finds a Fighting Fury belt, so we're not gonna be KOing Darkrai either. Definitely not gonna be KOing Darkrai either. Not even with Mew or Jolteon. So yeah, 2 things worry me right now. At this point, I assume my opponent runs no evolutions. Okay? So, with that in mind, or knowing that rather, we definitely can assume that he has no way to break the lock other than Verse Seeker or Lysander, which means he really needs that Malamar. And as long as we can somehow control his hand a little bit, I mean, I could definitely end him once again this upcoming turn. And I'm sorry if you're hearing all the all the noisiness from the street. That was his 4th max elixir. He hasn't played a single Verse Seeker, which worries me a little bit. Just a little bit. Not the end of the world, but not getting that KO on Darkrai is also not ideal, because he found the Fighting Fury belt. He's actually going to retreat and promote Yveltal for some reason. That doesn't really change the situation. It only means I get to KO on Yveltal. And yeah, I'm definitely going to end my opponent. Definitely going to end my opponent right here. I've already played 2 Verseekers though, which is not ideal. He decides to power up Darkrai once again. I guess he didn't want Darkrai to be damaged. Gonna touch the Fighting Fury belt there. I'm gonna touch another energy. Could actually Lysander the Darkrai, but just gonna retreat, and I'm actually going to end my opponent once again for the 3rd turn in a row. Or is it the 4th? No, the 3rd. And yeah, we have him under control, if you will. Not the tightest of lucks, and we are definitely very susceptible to a Lysander onto Hoopa, so we really need to find, well, the 4th Verseeker can definitely help. Promoting Darkrai may signify he has a Verseeker. We just don't want to get stuck. And we also don't want my Pokemon to be put to sleep. Thankfully, he has no Malamar still. There's the Lysander, the 2nd Lysander, but he's actually going to opt to KO Mew, which I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm generally fine with that so far, because if he somehow manages to find a Verseeker in order to promote Hoopa, then we'd be in huge trouble. So I'm gonna discard Seismitoad and Glaceon. We're obviously not going to use them. I'll grab whatever, and I'm going to end my opponent once again. So maybe using Lysander onto Darkrai would have been the better play. I just really need to limit his resources. Getting the AC is definitely ideal. I don't think my opponent will be able to get up to 160 damage. I'd be really surprised if he could. I'll keep the Sycamore, but maybe keeping the Verseeker would have been a better idea. And I'm gonna Flash Ray here. Not gonna get a KO because of the Fighting Fury belt my opponent has. But he still has half his deck there. Man. Okay. He's going to Verseeker for Lysander. Who is he going to Lysander? The Hoopa. Yeah, because I really cannot retreat that easily. But he's only dealing 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. 110 damage. If I'm not mistaken with Dark Pulse. 120 because of the stadium. But thankfully I do have the AC now. So that's a card I really, really needed. I'm gonna pick up the Hoopa. I'm obviously not gonna play it down once again, and I'm gonna take my KO. And after this, I'm pretty sure, or I'm pretty certain, we should have the game locked. There's nothing on my opponent's side of the field that can actually threaten either Jolteon, at least not with a 1-hit KO. I'm not gonna bench a Shaman, I'm not gonna bench a Glaceon, I'm not gonna bench Hoopa, because they can be Lysandered up and they have high retreat costs. So at this point, unless my opponent does something really, really impressive, like playing down Malamar and putting me to sleep and I never wake up or something like that, something weird like that, pretty sure we have this game under our belt. Took us a while to secure it. We definitely struggled a little bit, but it looks like we should be able to win this one. With the Fighting Fury belt, we will actually not be able to KO Yveltal. And he's gonna Hex Maniac, that doesn't really matter. He finishes his hand and he passes. So I'm gonna replace the stadium. I'm going to attach another Fighting Fury belt. I'm gonna Sycamore just to power up the Jolteon. I'm not gonna deck myself out before I win. That's definitely not going to happen, and I'm not gonna bench anything at all, that's for sure. Check to see what else I have. Sycamore, Lysander still there. There's still a Verseeker, so in case something really weird happens, we still have resources left. in order to KO a Pokemon, to Lysander something up. And yeah, my opponent will survive 2 turns thanks to that Fighting Fury belt, but we have 7 to take our last prize. Oh wow, he top decks Malamar, but he doesn't have an energy to put us to sleep. So with that in mind, I'm gonna deal damage, and we might actually need, if he top decks an energy and he attaches it to Malamar and I flip tails on the sleep check, there'll be 5 cards left in my deck. I can use Ultra Ball to get myself a Pokemon, use the Max Elixir to maybe get an energy, and with the Trainer's Mail there would have been 4 cards left in my deck, which would have meant I would have definitely been able to find the Berserker in order to grab AC, return Jolteon to my hand, and take the KO for the last prize. So yeah, pretty slow and methodical win, but a win nonetheless. If we had not had the AC at that exact moment, we might have potentially been in a lot of trouble. But I did have it. Fortunately, my deck was a lot thinner than my opponent's, and it's like he got ahead really quickly thanks to all the Max Elixirs, but the drawback to that was the fact that he didn't have enough resources to have a stable mid game. So yeah, pretty okay game for us. Now we're up against a Water Fairy deck, so I mean, Water Fairy, some sort of new fairy type with Octillery maybe, or a completely non-competitive deck. I mean, I cannot think. I mean, maybe it's something like Mega Gardevoir with Octillery, Mega Gardevoir Aromatisse with Octillery instead of Shamans. That's definitely a possibility. We're gonna start, and my opponent did bench 2 Pokemon, so we're gonna see what we're up against most likely. If we see 2 Remoraids, then well, what can you do? Maybe it's Greninja Slurpuff. That's also another possibility. There's a Xerneas and there's a Cottony. So that's an interesting combination actually. I'm going to Ultra Ball away the Sycamore and the Shaman. Going to go find Hoopa, and with Hoopa I'm gonna find the other Shaman, the Seismitoad, and the Glaceon. I think that's the best play for me right now. Seismitoad can threaten my opponent in the short term. Glaceon, I generally don't know what Whimsicott does. Maybe it switches damage counters around. I seem to recall it doing something like that. Not entirely sure. But yeah, I'm gonna bench those 2. Glaceon might be important if Whimsicott actually does something interesting, or that I'm not aware of. And I'm just gonna pass the turn here. We can also begin with an item lock through Seismitoad, but I'd really rather do it KO every Xerneas. I'm not too scared of the energy attachments. It doesn't have a Spritz in play, so he won't be able to move energy around. He will Geomancy, which is fair, but it's not the biggest of deals for us. We are not threatened by Xerneas, and yeah, okay, I guess I'll attach the lightning energy, and I will Crystal Ray for 70. I generally don't know what to expect from my opponent. It's not a Rainbow Road deck that has become a bit popular lately. He does find a Bridget, so we might be able to find out what the water type Pokemon is. There's a Gardevoir EX, okay. So Jolteon might be important at this point. There's a Whimsicott. Yeah, move all damage counters from one of your bench Pokemon to your opponent's active Pokemon. So Whimsicott is an issue because he can attack with Gardevoir, or let me damage Gardevoir, and then, well, 70 HP, that's the perfect amount. 3 cards in his hand. I would love a Jolteon here. I didn't think I would need Jolteon, but now I realize I do. I'm gonna power up Glaceon, and I'm going to end my opponents. I realize this might give him a good amount of resources, but I'd really like to find a Jolteon right now, which I will not, which is not great. Yeah, because he can take a KO with Gardevoir. He can definitely take a KO with Gardevoir. Gonna grab the water, attach it to Glaceon. Can follow up with another Glaceon next turn. And I guess I'll Crystal Ray once more. But now we might be in some trouble. My opponent has a lot of energy in play. As long as he doesn't get too many Whimsicots, we should be okay-ish. Benches another Gardevoir. There's the Spirit Link on the benched one. So probably going to attach a new Shining Wind for a KO. So I would have really loved to find a Jolteon, because that would have forced him to Mega Evolve the active instead of the bench. He actually does play the Octillery like I predicted. I definitely didn't predict the regular Gardevoir. And there's the Gardevoir EX. So no energy for my opponent. Probably will find one at this point. Places the stadium. Doesn't really affect us too much. He does have Aromatisse. So yeah. I generally... Wow, he opts to Mega Evolve and pass the turn. That's weird. It's definitely weird. Top decking a Max Elixir. That's not good either. So, gonna attach the Floatstone to Hoopa. Gonna use the Max Elixir, see if I can find an energy. I do not. Gonna attach the Lightning Energy to Glaceon. I'm going to use AC onto Shaman in order to draw a few more cards. And it's going to get really interesting from this point onwards. Could find Jolteon now, but I don't really want to. Oh no, what? Oh, I forgot. I forgot he replaced the stadium. That was very, very silly of me. If he attaches an energy, he can KO everything. That was so stupid of me. I should have retreated and attacked with Glaceon. That was the right play. That was absolutely the right play. Gosh, that was really dumb. I'm sorry, guys. That was really, really stupid. I didn't even... I did attach an energy for the turn. But that was really stupid of me. Really, really stupid of me. Now he can shuffle energy around. With Aromatisse, the 30 damage is not significant, I don't think. Yeah, it's definitely not. Oh, man. That was a terrible play on my part. Terrible, terrible play. Another level ball doesn't find anything. He's going to Fairy Transfer. Well, if he doesn't have another Fairy Energy, he will miss the KO, which is great. Because simply giving away 2 prizes is really stupid. But he has a Lysander to KO Shaman EX. Okay. Does find a Fairy Energy though. And probably plays Max Potion, you would imagine. Wow. Man, what I did was really stupid. It really was very stupid. Very stupid. Okay. Simply corroborating my theory that Mew is not the ideal attacker in any scenario. Now there are a few scenarios, but okay. Gonna focus on powering up another Glaceon. At least I got the energy back. And I'm going to end my opponent. He won't be able to damage me, thankfully. If he does the whatever Whimsicott play, we have the exact same HP at this point thanks to the Fighting Fury Belt. So that means he won't be able to KO Glaceon. That means he won't be able to KO the Glaceon. I play down my stadium simply so that he cannot retreat for free. I whiff another max elixir. That's fine, and I'm gonna Crystal Ray for 80 damage. Still gonna be a 3 KO, so the previous turn I definitely I played so bad. I got distracted, I forgot there was no stadium, and I simply clicked the bottom attack by inertia instead of thinking about my play. He does have the stadium to replace. He can, well, he can attack with the regular Gardevoir with Shining Wind. It's gonna be a 3 KO. And not anymore. Not anymore actually, because he will heal the regular the Mega Gardevoir and put me in range of another Shining Wind. Man, this is not good. This is definitely not good. So I have two choices here. I can either use the energy switch and retreat and KO the Whimsicott and save my Glaceon. Yeah, I think that's the... No, I actually need consecutive Glaceons. That's what I really need. He will get a KO. If I get the first attack off, well, man, missing those two max elixirs was very important. That was really important. I'm actually gonna attack with the other Glaceon. I'm actually going to do that as long as I can find an energy off of this next 5 cards. Otherwise, that would have looked very silly. I do find enough energy, so I'm going to retreat. I'm going to promote this Glaceon. I'm going to attach a lightning energy, and I'm going to deal damage with Crystal Ray. If I had Rough Seas, then I would be in a lot better scenario. Definitely in a lot better scenario. But I unfortunately do not. And I also haven't found another Fighting Fury Belt. So my Glaceon is at risk of getting to it KO'd. And if he does, wow, he finds a Lysander, okay. So, yeah, I don't think we are winning this game. I genuinely don't think we are winning this match. Unless he misplays horribly, we are not going to win this game. If we had Rough Seas, then I would have a good feeling about it. But because we do not have Rough Seas, unless I top deck Fighting Fury Belt, I'm pretty sure this is over. And even with the Fighting Fury Belt, there's another regular Gardevoir right there, which he can use to attack. And he can also use Xerneas. Doesn't need too many energy in play. He just needs to be able to switch attacks between basic Pokemon and Mega Pokemon. And that's all he needs. That is all he genuinely needs. So, it's only a matter of time for me to lose, actually. It really is only a matter of time for me to lose. Which sucks. Which really sucks. I'm gonna Crystal Ray here. Because yeah, whenever I do attack with... if I ever do attack with Jolteon, he promotes Gardevoir. And if I do not, then he simply... Well, yeah, he's gonna Shining Wind. Does he heal or something like that? No. He simply removes his weakness. Huh. So. I could... Okay, here's what I can do. I can Lysander up the Mega Gardevoir and try and force my opponent in. I have to end. I really have to end. And hopefully... Ugh. I don't have a Shaman. Never mind. Well, what I needed to do was to put myself in a situation where he retreated with the Mega Gardevoir and lost energy in play, and then well, I could have actually KO'd. I couldn't. Like force him to retreat the Mega Gardevoir one too many times, so that then Jolteon EX could finish off the game for me. But he simply retreats and gets a KO, and yeah, not really too much I could have done. So this deck, what I do take from this week is that on paper it looks really good and invincible, because your opponent's Pokemon will not deal damage. But if your opponent is running a Mega Pokemon EX, then he has the ability to switch around between the regular EXs, which are usually very good attackers, and the Mega in order to bypass whatever attack you decided to use. And even if I had maybe focused on copying Regice, the regular Cernias was there as well to damage me, so not much I could have done really. So yeah, this is it from me, guys. Thank you so much for watching this week. I hope you enjoyed the deck. I forgot to put up the poll on Wednesday, so I guess the new deck will be a surprise for you. I genuinely forgot. I didn't have a deck planned or anything. I genuinely forgot. So I've decided on a new interesting deck, which I think you guys will like. And I will see you guys on Sunday for the announcement on what deck I will be using, or on Monday for a brand new week of Road to TCG Worlds 2016. Thank you so much, and bye-bye.